What's up, everybody? We're back again. It's the Dadbod Golf Pod, and we have a very special guest today. We have former Auburn Star golfer, All-American, everything, Jovan Rebula. Jovan, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, what's up, Kyle? Thank you so much for having me on, man. This is pretty cool, and yeah, I got your message the other day, and I was pretty pumped to do this. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, you played at Auburn. I'm a member at the Auburn University Club. We, kind of met in passing and had some fun conversations, talked about how I had a roommate from South Africa and how you guys like to party and have fun. And y'all are also great golfers. So kind of became friends, and I'm looking forward to talking with you and getting to know you a little bit better and, and then following your career in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, how in the hell does a dude from South Africa get to Auburn, Alabama? How does that work out?
It's actually been a pretty crazy story. So I was really never, take it back a little bit. Growing up in South Africa is kind of, you play the amateur scene around there, and there's a certain amount of teams that you want to make. So you want to make like the national team, and get to travel and play around the world and play a bunch of amateur events. And we get a pretty great opportunity from Golf RSA back home, who gives us these opportunities to be able to go play in some really cool events. So that's kind of, growing up in amateur golf, that's kind of what you wanted to do in that. And then maybe play, once you graduate high school, maybe play one more year of amateur golf. And then it's generally, the first thing is just to turn pro after that and play on the Sunshine Tour back home. And, obviously, wanting to pursue a dream to be able to play on the PGA Tour, this was kind of one of the first steps, to kind of get used to the whole. That was the main idea behind the whole deal of coming to college for me, is just kind of, being able to get used to the living environment, the golf courses, get to know the people a little bit better, because generally you see nowadays it's, all the guys that play with you in college is predominantly the guys that you're going to be playing with on tour one day and, making a living. So, but anyway, so back to the story of me, like I said, I've never really wanted to go to college at all. And then, I was pretty privileged to have my uncle, to be able to help me out. He was kind of the one that got me going on the whole deal. He plays professional golf, obviously. And, he was the one that said, go ahead and do this whole deal. Like, even if it means just going there for 2 years or whatever, just go check it out and get used to the whole deal, how all that stuff works over there and all of that. And anyway, it was 9 months before I actually started in August of 2016. I guess I decided about, October, September, around that time, that I actually wanted to go to college. And I know I've received a mail from Auburn University. When I was about 14 years old, I came over to America to come play in the World Junior and Torrey Pines over in San Diego. And obviously received the mail back then when I was about 14 years old. And obviously, I didn't really show any interest, because I knew kind of what I was doing. Is that's my pursuit, turn professional immediately after 1 year of amateur golf and just go play professionally. So anyway, so kind of how it went is I, started reaching out to the coaches again over here. And, it was funny. They sent me a message over Twitter. I was getting ready for school one day. It was in January. And they reached out to me and they were like, hey, is there any chance, are you interested at all in coming over to play golf in the States? And it's kind of funny how that all worked out, because I just spoke to my uncle about that not too long before that, and doing that. So anyway, that's kind of how the ball got rolling on that whole deal. Kind of spoke to
the Auburn relationship started with a Twitter DM.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So it's
props
a pretty cool
to coach
story
for that.
Absolutely, dude. So anyway, so it was pretty cool how that all worked out. I mean, I was recruited in the most informal way you can possibly think of. Like, it just literally texting over Twitter, and then it got to Facebook Messenger, to a Skype session, and then the next moment I'm writing my SATs, and next moment I'm signing my papers to come over here. So that's kind of how it worked out. The road to doing all of that was kind of rough. I remember, for me, I live in a town called George, back home. So it's about it's a smaller town. I honestly kind of pretty similar size to Auburn. And, obviously you want to write your SATs and do all those things. I had a commute to Cape Town, which is about a 4-hour drive. And I think I ended up, the first time I had to write my SATs, I'll never forget the coach told me, all that they need is a science and a math score, for my SATs, because I had no idea what the hell a SAT was or any other stuff. Like, I was completely new and thrown under the bus under this whole deal. And anyway, so he just mentioned that, we just need these 2 scores. And I'm like, all right, sweet. So I get up and sign up for the SATs, and I get to Cape Town, and there's like 40 people writing the SAT test at one of the universities over there. And I'm like, so they're calling out the names and whatever, and I'm spread out into this separate room or whatever, where there's like 3 people in this exam hall or whatever you want to call it. I'm like, oh damn, am I in the right place right now?
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up writing the wrong SAT test the first time, so I had to go again and do it, and it was just kind of ended up writing the SATs a couple times. I wrote it 3 times actually, so it was kind of just a blur. And it's such a rush in the moment of doing all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, and then long after that, I was supposed to actually redshirt my first year. And then just because it's just, with South African school, grades and stuff like that, and just the transcripts that you had to send over, like the South African school system never really had the, the required classes and stuff like that for over here. So I was missing a couple classes and things like that. And I don't know how it happened, but a month before I came over here to Auburn, the coach called me and he told me he's got great news that I didn't have to redshirt anymore. So, I mean, it was like a month before I get here, I don't have to redshirt anymore. So ended up jumping straight into it, and then landed in Auburn, Alabama in August of 2016. And it's been such a fun ride since then.
What was your first impression when you got here to Auburn?
Man, the campus was great, honestly. I mean, obviously, I'll never forget, like people always saying back home in South Africa, they go to America and you just look at everything and they just say that everything's bigger in America, like everything,
right.
Food portions, cars, everything, you know what I mean? And I remember, driving back there and you see these trucks that are, some of these guys, or these country guys driving these trucks. And it's like, I mean, the cars, the base of their car is about the height of the car that I'm driving and on the way to Auburn. So that was pretty crazy. But no, I mean, campus was great. Just looking at the football stadium was crazy. So yeah, it's been great.
Are golf courses, are they much different back home versus like some of the stuff you played? How different are they, I guess? Or are they?
Yeah, I mean, if you take, where we are in the South over here, predominantly playing Bermuda grass golf courses. Back home where I grew up was mainly Poana and Bend. So that was obviously the first thing that I had to adjust to a little bit, is kind of just the different grass type and stuff like that. Right. And, it was a little bit tricky in the beginning, but, good golfers need to adapt to certain things. And that was one of those things that I had to do. And, it took a couple of weeks, I guess, to just get used to that. And obviously the heat and the humidity over here was something that threw me off guard a little bit, but otherwise it was great, man. It's been such a good experience. But yeah, golf courses, just the grass types are a little bit different, but I mean, and overall, if you look at them, it's a pretty similar deal.
That's awesome. So you kind of glanced across it earlier, but I mean, you're your own guy and you're going to be your own golfer, but tell everybody that doesn't know, like your uncle's kind of a big deal too. So
yeah, so my uncle is Ernie Els.
Yes.
I don't think I need to really explain too much about him. A lot of people know who he is and what he does and all of that stuff. But I mean, with all of his fame that he's had over his, all of his success he's had over his, his whole lifetime, he's just such a good dude, man. He's just he's a great guy and he's a caring guy. And that's one thing that people, kind of don't see behind the scenes a little bit of, is how much he helps out, with a lot of things. And, he's got his own autism school.
Right.
Back home and where they live in Palm Beach, Florida. And, so that kind of just tells you a little bit more about his character, and obviously with me, he's, I couldn't ask for, a better uncle, but I mean, we kind of treat each other more as friends, to be honest with you. Like we're just some close buddies, and he's always calls me about every second week. We talk about every 2 weeks or so, just to catch up and see how everything's going. And I mean, he's been a major help so far, man. He's just, all of this stuff, it's, we go down and spend a week with him down in Florida, and we do everything together. Like we'll hang out with each other 24/7, and it's a pretty cool deal to be able to, get a little bit of advice from him, and all of that stuff. Just pick his brain a little bit in a very different manner. Being family is obviously, you can tell a little bit more of the more secretive stuff. That kind of helped him over his career. So, but yeah, he's a great guy, and we get along super well.
Sounds like almost kind of like a big brother type relationship.
Absolutely is. You're not wrong on that. That's definitely how it is.
So while you're at Auburn, like team wise, y'all had a lot of success. I think you had at least one SEC championship, correct? And you got very deep in nationals several times. I think. How many did you get to match? I know you got to match play at least once, maybe a few times. But how is team golf like on a college team? How much more is it feel more rewarding, or is it just like how much different is that from just going and playing, in a single event? Like,
no, absolutely. I mean, it's obviously always something. So what was great for me, at least, is back home in South Africa, we would play a bunch of team events, back home, predominantly match play though.
Right.
So being in an environment where you're playing every single golf tournament in a team atmosphere, I loved it, man. I thought it was great. All the guys, golfers in general, is competitive by nature.
Right.
So, and it's what they say about bringing the best out of each other, and iron sharpens iron. Like, that was kind of our deal. Was everyone was trying to make each other a little bit better every day, and all of that stuff. And that was great. I mean, you always had someone to practice with and play with, and all of that stuff. Where I think it's now transitioning into pro golf is a little bit different.
Right.
It's and the coach hops on that every time. Every now and then he'll mention to us, enjoy this while it lasts, because this is the last time you're going to be in a team environment, and you're going to have people around you that actually care for you, and make you better, and all of that stuff. Because once you get done there, you're by yourself.
You're on your own.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great way to be able to, if you're struggling with something or whatever it is, you can always go out and reach to some teammates, and there's always some kind of competition that you can play, among each other and stuff like that. So for that aspect, it's been great. And you mentioned about team success that we've had. I'd say we won. So we won the SEC championship in 2018 when Wells made that putt on the last hole to beat Alabama. Was pretty special, man. That was awesome. That was a pretty cool day. So yeah, we got to do that, and then that year, going into that postseason, we played NCAA's at Costin Creek, and then made it to the semifinal of the match play. And that was kind of the only thing that we made match play. And so I only made it once in my 4 years.
Yeah.
But man, dude, that's also something that, it's hard to describe in words of how good that was. That was 2018, I would say, was a standout year by a mile for all of us.
Did y'all, was it Oklahoma State that you played that put you out? Is that right?
Yep.
It's not fair. You got to play them on their home court.
Yeah. Playing on their home course, and you're playing against guys that two of the guys already won on the PGA Tour. So
Matthew Wolf, and then the other was it
Victor, yeah.
Victor, yeah. What a squad.
Yeah.
What a squad.
I mean, it was crazy. So, I think we were actually, during that time, they were doing obviously a bunch of NCAA golf stuff on Golf Channel and stuff like that. I remember we were sitting down watching TV that night, and they were ranking golf teams, all of the past golf teams, that's ever lived. I think it was like Houston's golf team from like 1960 something was like, they were the best golf team to exist. And I think these guys got freaking ranked like 6th in that category. So like you think about all of the golfers that go through all of this, and now you're up against a team like this, and we were up for the challenge, man. I think we were the only people that scored points against them in the whole match play, because I think they swept, the team they played before us, and then they swept Alabama in the final too. So we got pretty close, man. And, we had a good run at it. And I think, that's the closest we've been to an NCAA championship. And, hopefully going forward, the boys that are, going to follow in his footstep can do something special too, man. That would be so awesome to see, because, it's crazy how Coach Klein and how hard the coaching staff works towards that, man. That's the main goal over there, and I know that they're going to pull something through pretty soon. I mean, they're bound to do it. The whole program just works way too hard, to make the whole scenario just as give us the
Right.
best possible chance. You know what I mean?
So
So
2018 in general was a pretty awesome year for you. So
Mm.
you go from collegiate golf success, and then you go and you win, I guess, the amateur championship, and over in Europe. I think you played, was it Royal
Aberdeen.
Royal Aberdeen in Scotland. And that gave you 3 exemptions to the Masters, the US Open, and the Open. And it just so happened that the US Open and the Open were played at 2 of the most iconic golf courses in the world, which is just unbelievable. You played the US Open at Pebble Beach, and you played the Open at Carnoustie. Like, holy cow, man. And then you play the Masters, like 3 of the most iconic courses.
I got a pretty good route there.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I mean, because of the course, I guess the prestige of the course, like, not only just being in the event has to be sort of like overwhelming, but then you throw the course on top of it, like being a college guy and winning an amateur golfer. Like, how was it when you step onto those courses, as far as like from an emotional level, just to kind of like settle down? How long did it take till you were like, okay, now I'm just playing golf? Like, I'm playing golf now.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, Carl. I mean, obviously being an amateur golfer, kind of just playing collegiate events, traveling, playing amateur events. Now all of a sudden you're in 3 of the biggest tournaments in the world. You know what I mean? And it's, it's kind of crazy. You know what the good thing about all that is everything happens so fast, which is maybe something that helps in that sense. Because gosh, man, like, I felt that first tee shot at Augusta, I honestly couldn't even feel the club in my hands, dude, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I know I'm not a guy for saying cliche words at all. I don't like that. But generally, like, I could not feel the golf club in my hands that time. And how the hell I hit the ball down the middle of the fairway on the first hole, up to this day, I couldn't tell you.
That's
but
awesome.
Yeah, man, it's been great. It's been really cool. It's been definitely more of a learning experience than anything. Obviously people want to play great in those events, but I was mainly focused on just trying to take out the most out of that whole week.
Sure.
I'll recap after every week, and I'll have these notes. I'll write freaking essays of after each event of what could I do better, what can I, what did I do well, all the pros and cons and all this. And every tournament was different. Like, man, it's crazy how much you learn out of those whole deals. And you look at what I was doing a lot is also just like evaluating other players as well. Like, you look at all the top guys in the world, like, what are they doing? And you kind of, you don't follow them around a little bit, but to a sense, you want to know like what the best players in the world is doing. Because you're there for a reason, right? Right now it's obviously you're going out there and being competitive by nature. You want to go out and win every golf tournament you play, right? But it comes to a sense where it's just like, okay, you can take this whole deal and learn out of everything. Like, one thing that I learned is one of the crazy things that I tell some of my mates as well. It's like, you look at McIlroy and you look at DJ and you look at Tiger and all those guys, like, you don't really see them at the golf course that much. They get there, they do their work. They're always the first guys out there. Let's play their 18 holes. They go to the range after for 30 minutes, do putting for 15 minutes or whatever. And then they're out of there. They're not the guys, people harp on how, a lot of the guys grind and they, spending 3 hours on the 3, 4, 5 hours on the range during tournaments. That's one thing that I observed is like, because I looked out for certain guys, to see where they are and stuff like that. And, obviously you can see on social media too, when they show up to the golf course, because they'll post a picture of them being there, whatever, 7 o'clock on the first tee or whatever it is, you go afterwards, you try and see what these guys are doing and stuff like that. And you don't really see them a lot, man. They do their work and they, get done and they go home and they, consume, like, energy consumption, I feel, is such a big thing during those weeks, man, because you on such a high emotionally and you got so much adrenaline going during the week. It's just a way to kind of find your balance, just to save your energy. Because I know, I'll tell you a perfect example is when we played the Open at Carnoustie. We stayed at St. Andrews that week, which is about 45 minutes away. And I was at the golf course. I was so excited about everything. And I was at the golf course Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all day long. you know, and you don't feel you getting tired or any of that stuff. And, you know, because you want to go play with this guy, and you want to go play with that guy, and you want to see what this guy's doing. You want to go, you know, you just want to be everywhere almost, because you want to take everything in.
You can, yeah.
But at the same time, that's where I had to realize, okay, well, you're here to do a job as well. So it's kind of, you know, and then I felt, you know, I had got there Thursday afternoon. I had my tea time. I think I had an afternoon tea time at like 1 o'clock or something like that. And got there and felt perfectly fine for the first 3-4 holes. And then like right after that, I could just feel my energy level just went straight down. And I'm just like, well, you know, what's going on right now? So, you know, it's those kind of things that I paid a lot of attention to. And, you know, that's taking even to amateur events now. Like I can kind of go, you know, work more, you know, efficiently rather than, you know, do way too much. So yeah, that's kind of things like that I paid attention to and learned during those weeks and stuff like that. But yeah, man, dealing with emotions and stuff is kind of, it's interesting sometimes. Like you gotta just kind of, you gotta do it.
I just realized too, I don't know how I let this go, but like 2019, that was Tiger's Masters.
Oh yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have any kind of interaction with him at all?
I did not. Like I told you, man, you don't find these guys anywhere. They're super, super low key. And you know, it just brings to thought that it's like, you know, if you want to be the best, you got to do what the best does sometimes, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, Tiger was there. We hung around and, you know, he won on Sunday there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it was fun, man. It was pretty cool. And then he also almost won at Carnoustie too.
Yes.
I didn't think about that either. Second or third there too. So yeah, it's been a pretty good time to be able to play there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you finish college. The PGA Tour comes out with this new point system thing for collegiate golf called PGA Tour University.
Yep.
And they kind of rolled it out and didn't really explain it a whole lot to guys like me. Like you are all aware of it, but like how did that work? How does that work? I know you finished, I believe, was it top 15? Top 15.
Yeah, I grabbed that last spot.
Right. So you got the last spot. Explain how that works, what that means for your future, and just kind of that going forward.
Man, it's I think you're gonna get a lot of bigger attraction of European people coming over to the States to do this now. I think golf in general is gonna become a way bigger sport than what it is right now. There's gonna be a lot of good golfers involved and all of that stuff, you know. So I think it's a great thing, man, and it's something that I personally am extremely thankful for, because, you know, I look at a lot of my mates as well. Like once they get done with, you know, let's say take before this year, like some of the guys that I played on the team with, you know, you get done and you're like, okay, well, what do I do now? You know, It's like, you know, that only the top 6-7 guys in the world amateur ranking is going to get the exemptions into all of those PGA Tour events, and then the rest is kind of just cut out. Like they got to go grind on mini tour events, and they got to go to Q school, and they got to go do it, you know, which is not going to guarantee anything, you know, for you to be able to play right out of the bat. So pretty much what the PGAU ranking is, under my understanding, is they take kind of a cumulative ranking over I think it is a cumulative ranking over your 4 years, and they get like a point system together over their 4 years, because this is a completely separate ranking or point system to what we usually deal with. I mean, usually it's just the collegiate stuff, and it's just, you know, this is kind of something completely on the end of the spectrum. So they give you a preseason ranking, and that's kind of your ranking that you start off with. So I think I was ranked like 10th in this thing when it just came out last year, and ended on 15th on the 15th spot. So you kind of work off that, and that's where you kind of balancing off of as you go. You know, that's kind of where you got to work your way through. But yeah, it's great, man. So what happens is if you finish top 5 on that ranking list, you get your Korn Ferry card for a year, which is phenomenal.
Awesome.
I mean, that's just it's crazy to think. I mean, the fact that they could do something like that for us is incredible. And that's where I think the attraction is going to come by, is because now you got at least something to play for after college, which is fantastic. So anyway, so 1 to 5 gets Korn Ferry card, and then originally what it was is you finish 6th to 15th. They kind of split you up between PGA, Latin America, Canada, and China.
Yeah.
But obviously with COVID, being around, they started a new tour called the Form Tour, which is, I guess, collective a collective tour of all of those. They kind of get all the guys to come there. And I think PGA Tour Latin America was playing this year. Canada just got started back up again. So they started this new tour called the Form Tour. And then I guess if you finish anywhere from 6th to 15th, you get status on the Form Tour, which is great, man. I mean, I can't tell you how hard, like I sit back and think about it, and it's like, man, if I didn't get the status, like what was I going to do? Like I would be playing mini tour events, and which is not one not a bad thing, but it's just like this is such a big help to kind of get your foot in the door and kind of get going right out of the bat and things like that. So yeah, man, all of us, I know, speaking on behalf of all the guys that did that, we're just extremely thankful to be able to have something like that. It's because it's such a big help. You can start earning money immediately, like decent money immediately, which is also a nice thing. But yeah, so that's kind of how all of that works. And, it's a really good system that they got going. I guess it's kind of, you can call it like a draft system.
Sure.
What they have for golf now, where usually it's for football and baseball and all that stuff. This is, I guess, a new draft system for golf.
Interesting.
Cool.
So what's your next move? So like you finished, is the Form Tour over, or like how?
So there's 2 more events left on the Form Tour. I was unfortunate. So I've been hurt these last, I've been struggling with a couple of injuries these last couple of weeks. So I haven't been playing much, but I played the first 2 events. One was in Athens, Georgia, at Jennings Mill Golf Club, and the next one was obviously at Auburn. And that was unfortunately my last event that I played. We I've kind of just been working hard with physios and seeing doctors and stuff like that. And I kind of got something. I was struggling a little bit with my sciatic nerve system in my body.
Yeah.
So that's kind of something that I'm just paying close attention to right now. Is I'm not really taking any chances regarding this whole deal, because
long career.
Golf is a marathon. It's not a race,
Right.
So I'm really trying to just take care of all of this stuff and make sure, that I'll be ready to go whenever the time comes. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing lately. And, hopefully I can be able to get back. I know the next event's going to be that they got done yesterday with the last event that was played up in Ohio. And then the next last 2 events is going to be one's in New Jersey, and the other one's going to be, I think it's in Ohio, going to be as well. But yeah, so 1st of September is the next event. So hopefully I can make it back and be able to play in those events.
How's your caddy situation? I'm a pro tour caddy now, so I do have a top 15 finish, and just want to always throw that out there. You never know when you might need somebody.
Yeah, man, we might have to talk, dude. But yeah, no, I had one of my buddies, one of my really good friends, Dean Martin, he played golf at Troy, and he just graduated from Troy the same time he was, kind of finding his way, what he can do. Honestly, a big thing for us right now is trying to get a visa, to be honest with you. Like, it's because as an international student, this is kind of a headache by itself right now that we're dealing with, but you kind of get you got a grace period of a year when your student visa. Once you graduate, you got a grace period of a year. You got to apply for like another extended visa on your student visa. And, that's kind of where both of us were. And his one was expiring pretty soon. So what we're trying to do is I know that I'm hoping to get a sports visa through the Form Tour.
Yeah.
As it would be a big help, because that's kind of where I am right now, is just trying to figure out how am I going to stay in the country, to be honest with you. So anyway, the plan is that hopefully I could get a visa in time, and then he can apply for a visa, because you can apply for a visa as a caddy.
Yeah.
To keep you in the country for a year, I guess. So that's what we were planning on doing, but unfortunately, like everything, time wasn't on our hands. So, he had to go back to school. That was the only way for him to be able to stay here. So he had to reapply for another student visa and stuff like that. So, and he's got to be at school right now, obviously. So I'm kind of looking for someone right now. So we might
I'll tell you what, I don't know. I got the visa thing covered.
Yeah. We're not going to have any problems with that, huh?
I'm not going to have any issues there. So just want to throw that out there, dude. Yeah. This is awesome, man. It's sort of last minute, and you were all about it. I appreciate it. It's been cool to get to know you over the years of you being in Auburn. And obviously we're going to be pulling for you. Tell them where they can find you on, like, tell them where our listeners can find you on social media.
Yeah, so
they can
I'm
follow your
obviously
career.
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You just type in my name, you'll probably get it out there. And so I guess that's where I'll kind of keep in touch with everyone, or let everyone know what's going on. You know, I've never really been too active on social media, but I'm trying to obviously,
You gotta
get a little bit more.
man.
You got to get involved with that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I got to be like Blaine, letting people know what my day-to-day life is like, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
So
your wardrobe,
anyway.
like, you got to get in that pit
Yeah.
conversation. There's
Hey, man,
$40 million up for grabs.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I'm not quite there with this gym program yet, but I might have to find something to
That's awesome.
keep everyone in touch. But yeah, I mean, just follow me on social media, and that should be kind of where everything should be at.
Awesome,
I'll try
man.
and get a little bit more involved with all of that stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of where it's all.
Hey,
at.
well, you're welcome. You're welcome on the pod anytime. So anytime you come on. And,
and seriously, Carl, thank you so much for being able to host me on this. I really appreciate that, and it's been awesome. It's been fun, and I know everyone at AU Club has been great towards me over the last couple of years. Everyone's been so supportive and welcoming, obviously, and all that stuff. So yeah, if there's anything that I can do on my side too, just let me know. Get involved with a couple of things.
You got it, man. You got it, man.
Yeah.
Well, take care, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate that, man.
All right, bud. See you.
All right. War Eagle.
War Eagle.